Hi everyone, it's me again. First, I'd like to greet all our subscribers and also all new viewers that just jumped into the channel. Welcome to this section, which is called White Cane, because this section is dedicated to people that are visually disabled. So weekly we submit videos that have something to do with this condition. I also can't see, so that's why I'm doing this. And this week I will share with you a story that also happened to me this week. It just happened that while we were on a bus with my husband, going to our hometown, and a couple was walking behind us, and a husband asked the man of that couple asked my husband. He asked, "Is your wife blind?" And Diego said, "Yes." And he asked, "And she lives normal life?" And Diego said, "Yes." And then the man told his wife, "See? And you wanted to take your life away." And she started crying and they started speaking, and first Diego spoke with them. I didn't understand very well what was going on. I didn't hear the first part, so to me it was just strange speaking to strangers. But then Diego quickly explained to me what was going on, and he asked me if I want to switch the seat, and I believe also the woman switched it so we actually kind of were sitting next to each other. And the trip lasted like an hour and 10 minutes. And at that moment, I knew that's the time I have available to change the perception of this woman. So she was holding my hand almost whole trip. She was crying. She was saying how awful she feels because she can't do anything, that her husband doesn't understand her, how desperate she is. She also has a 3.5-year-old daughter. And she just explained things to me that I knew very well. And her husband was a little bit harsh at the beginning on her, but I would have to say lovingly harsh. Why? I'm okay right now emotionally. I didn't see it as being aggressive or, I don't know, too rough on her. And I also feel he was desperate because, he's hardworking. He works whole days. He only rests 1 day a week because he's working really hard to make enough money for his family. And he just wants his wife to participate with whatever she can, and more than anything to feel differently, to see life differently, to not feel that bad. So I'm sure he tried it also, to say soft strategies, talking to her, encouraging her nicely. I believe, I'm sure he tried everything. So he was kind of desperate. And Diego said when we were speaking to him that he was crying. So to me that tells that he truly loves her. I could tell he was accompanying her for another medical checkup, and he was really interested in everything that we were saying. So basically what I did was I was talking to her, showing her that I understand how she feels, because I also was there one day. I also lost my sight during my life, and I knew how it felt. And when you're completely lost, when you're desperate, when you're sad and disappointed, you feel guilty because you can't do many things, and it's just a mixture of all those very difficult things. And you feel that no one understands you. You feel that you even feel, that they're not entitled to give you comments such as, don't worry, you'll get used to it. People have their normal lives. And if a one-sided person tells you something like this, yeah, it's very cool, no, saying it. Let's switch for a day or two, and let's see if you'll be sorry about the word. But if you'll be smartassing after having my life for a day or two, let's say if you'll still say, it's easy, don't worry. You learn little by little, don't get desperate. It was upsetting me too when I got that kind of comments. But let's say I was kind of entitled to give her that kind of comments because I actually did live this kind of thing. So first I tried to calm her down basically, and I said, you know what, you can't have this kind of thoughts. You have a very small daughter. You have to be there for her. You can't leave her alone. she needs you, and well, if you can't see, well, you can see, no, that's not such a problem. But if you would give up on doing whatever, that's very different, no. Then you will teach your daughter that you are a victim, that things are impossible. So what you need to do is to understand that there's someone that you have to take care of, and you have to do your best for you, and also because these small eyes are looking at you, no. And then, well, she kind of calmed down and we started speaking. I told her about this application on the phone, on the smartphone, that is called TalkBack, so she could actually use it. She did have a smartphone because someone gave it to her as a present, but since the person was sighted and they didn't have any information, she didn't know that there's an app that helps her using it. She didn't use the white cane either, and she said that she's basically in her house, that she's afraid to go anywhere because she can't go on her own, that she's afraid to fall. And I told her that she could use white cane if she would make an effort and start using it. And I was pleasantly surprised because she never said, no, I don't want it. She was immediately interested. And I said, if you have this white cane and someone teaches you how to use it, and it's nothing really sophisticated, then you could be quite independent. You could go alone from your house to buy your tortillas or whatever you need. You could take your daughter to school and pick her up. I said, I'm doing that with my daughter. The school is not far, but I can do it. You could take your daughter to the park. You could go wherever you would want to, but without the cane, I find it impossible. With the cane and a little bit of practice, well, you could do more and more things. So if you would be interested, if you would like to make an effort and start using it, there you would get some of your independence back. And she was really interested. And I also told her about my super instructor and the place where he's teaching students, people that can see. And she was also interested of going there, and well, I gave her the number. I told her where this place is at. So I believe I gave her some basic tools in that short trip, and she started smiling. She changed her mood, and she asked, but Diana, will we really talk after this trip? I said yes. She said, but really? I said, yes, really. I mean, I gave you my number, you gave me your number, I will call you, don't worry. And she was thanking me. She was saying things like that God put me on her way and stuff like that. And I think that husband was also very, very thankful. So when we were leaving, I just told her, you know what, I need you to take care of yourself as much as you can, and take care of your daughter that adores you, and also of your husband that also loves you. And well, I'm asking you to do the best out of the situation for the sake of three of you. And she said yes, and well, I left the bus. I think I was able to do in an hour, I think so, more than her husband, no matter how much he loves her, because he isn't in her shoes. He has a perfect sight. So I think it's really difficult for us to be pressured by sighted people sometimes, because you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you don't live our situation. You don't know if it's easy or not. You don't know how much of an effort it requires to learn some things or to do some things well. You don't know how frustrating it is trying to find in nothing the things you have to use. And I just think you're not that much entitled to make this kind of comments because you don't live these things. And then, well, this new friend of mine, she actually also goes with a psychologist, and obviously the psychologist does have knowledge, maybe even experience with disabled people, but still this person doesn't live this thing. Of course, it's very helpful what she does with her psychologist. Of course, the psychologist puts a big part of things for her to use them, but the fact that I comment some things just because I live it, it's just something that I think no one else can give her. And maybe because in that moment she really felt so bad, maybe that was what she needed most. So later on, with the rest of the support that she has, of the psychologist, of her husband, of the family, of her daughter, her own willpower, right now, I hope she will be able to use all of these things. Maybe she just needed a little something in that moment of desperation. So what I'm trying to express here is, if you happen to see at certain point a person that has this that is visually disabled, and the situation is, that somehow naturally happens, that you have the conversation with that person, try to share, because you are entitled to share that how you overcame some things, and this thing can make a really big difference if you're asked to. Obviously, don't look for your victims to give your speeches. If it happens, I think it's very valuable if you have opportunity to do this. And I also think what's very useful for me also is join some groups of people that are also visually disabled, if you can, like in 3D, in person. Or I am also in the groups of Facebook where also people that can see speak about different things, about different situations. And yes, I mean, I take some of them experience way more seriously, and I consider them more just because they also can see than of any expert or anyone that loves me. Obviously, the rest is also super important, but this is a little extra. Well, I hope you liked the video. I hope it was something useful for you. If you happen to be visually disabled, I would like you to please comment. Did in any moment any person that is also visually disabled talk to you or share their experience? Or did you have the chance to help out someone else? If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do it easily by clicking to the right corner at the end of the video. So you will be notified anytime we upload some new videos. See you here next Thursday. Bye!